I have been dealing with poltergeist-like activities for the last 5 years. Please read this, and if you have any knowledge on how I should go about getting this taken care of, or you know of anyone who might please share this. If any of you on here could help me with this, it would be life-changing. This has caused me extreme distress, and I would do anything to finally fix it. I started meditating about 5 years ago. I had done it before, but not as deep as I was going. I don't know if it was the technique or what, but the method I was doing was training me to go longer and longer without a single thought. It was simply sit down and feel your body. That was it. If you have a thought, let it go and focus on the feeling of your body. So longer and longer, I would go without a thought over the coming months. I did this for sleep. I've always had insomnia since I was in middle school, and it worked. I was finally beginning to get to sleep on my own. I usually had to take an OTC sleeping pill. But something started to happen the longer this would go on. Over time, and I swear this was real, and I'm not making this up, and it has caused me extreme distress. Over time, as I would meditate, I would start to hear sounds. The TV would start clicking, almost as if it would if it was cold and then got hot. Same with the knocks in the walls. The knocks would sound like an old house readjusting to different temperatures. That's what the sound sounded like. Okay, no big deal. Just a click in the TV or a creak in the walls. But the more I meditated, day after day, the more these sounds would pick up in activity, and I noticed that I wasn't hearing them when I wasn't meditating. Maybe once a day I would hear the sounds. So the sounds seemed to be related to my meditations themselves. But I kept meditating. It was weird, but it wasn't anything distressing. But as the days went by, I would put myself into such a deep state that when I heard a sound, I would jump out of my state real quick, like you would if somebody jump-scared you. And they seemed to be getting louder. Around this time, a new phenomenon started happening. I started having involuntary movements. Now, when I was in that state of no thought, I had sound activity picking up to jump scare me, and now my arms and legs would randomly jerk. And again, it seemed to only happen when I meditated. And at first, the involuntary movement was light, but as time would go on, my arms, legs, and head would jerk more and more violently. And the weird thing was, all of this stuff would affect my meditation and immediately take me out of the state I had cultivated. But I kept meditating daily. The next thing that started happening was I would start to realize the knocks on the wall weren't the only sounds I was hearing. I was hearing furniture moving in the other room. And now this activity was not only happening when I meditated, but all the time when I was alone in my house. It got so bad one day, I was taking a shower, and I thought I heard someone break into my house. It sounded like somebody kicked my front door open. And I get out of the shower to look, and nothing. It got to the point where I was hearing all these noises all the time that I couldn't tell if someone else was in the house or not. Worst of all, the scariest part was it would also pick up its activity when I would read. It would make a noise the exact time when I would get into the book, effectively preventing me from being able to read. It felt extremely creepy, like there was a ghost deliberately tormenting me that was able to tell when my mind would get into any sort of state. It felt like a conscious entity that was sent to torment me and prevent me from going any further or any deeper into a meditative state. It also seemed to purposefully try to make me feel like somebody was in the house when I was alone. There was an incident where I heard this super strange noise in the middle of my living room, and my cat jumped almost out of her skin. She got so spooked. This activity never happened when I had someone else in the house with me. This caused me so much despair and distress that I began to drink, as alcohol was the only thing that made it stop. It's been 5 years since all of that, and I am now sober for a month. First time being sober since this happened. When I started drinking because of all of this, I began to drink every night so I could sleep, and at least have a couple hours every day to be free from the torment. But I am ready to start practicing spirituality again and meditating. But I have to know what all of that activity and torment was all about. What it was, what caused it, and how to prevent it. Please, this is real. The scariest part about it that most people think it's not real. I experienced something that should be impossible. So I had no clue who to talk to about it or how to solve it. I was very alone and trapped with this thing that shouldn't exist.